Namaste. Welcome to biology class. In the last video, we have been learning about the introduction of biomolecules chapter. Today, we will go in detail about one of the very important macromolecules, that is carbohydrates. Now, from our lower classes, we have been learning that carbohydrates are basically made up of three elements. They are carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. They are also called as, by the name itself we can understand that they are the hydrates of carbon. You can see here carbohydrates, which itself tells us they are the hydrates of carbon. Now, if we take any carbohydrate molecule, then we see these three elements in specific ratios. So, that is carbon, if it is one molecule, then hydrogen will be available in two molecules and oxygen will be available in one molecule. So, they are always seen in the ratio 1:2:1. So, based on this, we can write the general formula of carbohydrates, that is CnH2nOn, right. So, this is the general formula of carbohydrates. Now, these carbohydrates are macromolecules which are made up of smaller units which are called as the micromolecules. So, based on the number of these micromolecules, there is a classification related to carbohydrates. So, based on the number of units of micromolecules present in that carbohydrate, we have this classification. If the carbohydrate is made up of only one unit, then it is called as monosaccharide. Understood? Okay, saccharide is a word which is generally used for sugar or something related to carbohydrates. Yes, so mono means one, right? So here the examples are simple sugars like glucose, fructose, galactose. O's actually stands for sugar. Okay. Now, these are one of the simplest sugars because they are just made up of only one unit. Yes. So, they are usually sweet to taste. Now, if the carbohydrate is made up of two units, then it is called as a disaccharide. Di means two. The examples here are sucrose, lactose and maltose. So, in turn these disaccharides are made up of the similar or different types of monosaccharides. Now, coming to the next one, if the units are 3 to 8, then all such type of carbohydrates are called as oligosaccharides. So, the best example is raffinose. Raffinose is a trisaccharide. It is usually made up of 3 units of micromolecules. So, here you have raffinose which is made up of fructose, glucose and galactose. Now, there may be larger units, more number of units which make up the carbohydrates. So, thousands of units may be there and they are called as polysaccharides. Poly means many. Yes. Okay. So, here we can see some of the components which make up the cell wall, the carbohydrates which make up the cell wall in case of plants. Mainly cellulose is the one which is seen as a major component in the cell wall of plants. So, that cellulose is a polysaccharide. It is made up of many micromolecules. Now, chitin or chitin, it is a component which is seen in fungi, that is also a polysaccharide. We also have glycogen as a polysaccharide. Now, these are the examples of these polysaccharides. Now, we will be learning about a classification of monosaccharides. So, monosaccharides, they have only one unit. These monosaccharides, they usually have 3 to 7 carbons. So, here it is the number of units we have taken and here it is the number of carbon atoms they are made up of. So, this classification is basically based on the number of carbon atoms present in that. So, if there are 3 carbon atoms, that sugar is called as a triose sugar. Yes. So, now and henceforth, if there are 4 carbon atoms, then it is a Tetros sugar. So, based on the number of carbon atoms, we have the names given to them. Now, we will look on to their respective general formulas also. So, if it is triose sugar, means how many carbon atoms will be there? 3 carbon atoms. And we also know the general formula of the carbohydrates. So, if we just substitute this CN, H2N and ON, then how many carbon atoms are there? N value is 1. So, you have C3, H2N, 2 into 3, that is 6 and O3. Yes. So, this is the general formula of the triose sugar. The best example for this is glyceraldehyde. Okay. So, this is glyceraldehyde. Now, coming to the Tetros sugar. Tetros means here it is 4 carbon atoms. So, what will be the N value? It will be C4, H8 and O4. Yes. The example here is erythrose. So, this is made up of 4 carbon atoms. Right. Now, coming to the pentose sugar, that is made up of 5 carbon atoms. So, here your general formula will be C5 H10 O5, right. This sugar actually forms a very important component of our genetic material. Now, the examples for this pentose sugar is deoxyribose or ribose, you can also give it as ribose, and arabinose, right. So, these are the examples of pentose sugars. Now, coming to the hexose sugars, that is hexa means 6, yes, hexose sugars. So, it is C6H12O6. We are quite familiar with this formula, that is glucose. Glucose comes under this. You have fructose and galactose also, right. And then coming to the 7 carbon atom, then it is Hexose sugar. So, if it is heptose, then the formula will be C7, N value is 7, C7H14 and O7, yes. So, the example is pseudo heptulose. Okay, it is pseudoheptulose. So, this is how you can actually write down the general formula of those monosaccharides. Yes. So, now we will be learning about in detail about these hexose sugars, that is glucose and fructose.